Hi, it's your friend Jay from Bucket Cap Sports. This is my series, 10 Things I Hate About Your Team. And today, we're going to be starting with the Minnesota Twins. Why would anybody hate the Minnesota Twins? I got a lot of reasons. Actually, I've got a lot of reasons to hate every team in every sport, and that's why I'm going to be doing this series. Just wait till I get to my own teams. The number of reasons that I hate them. Like the A's or the Mets or the Steelers. Yeah, we're going to go there. This is 10 things I hate about the Minnesota Twins. So the first thing that I hate about the Minnesota Twins, the movie Little Big League. Like, come on. Out of all of that era where a little kid like joins a baseball team, he becomes a dog or something that plays second base, and they like find angels to help the team win, or he breaks his arm, gets Tommy John, comes through and turns out to be like an MLB ready closer. Out of all of those movies, this was the worst. You got a kid who inherits his favorite team and then makes himself manager. And we're not talking about like, oh, this kid really knew analytics really well. None of this modern non-baseball guy becomes a baseball operations person for the Oakland A's or the Cleveland Indians. No, this is a kid becoming the manager of his favorite team. Self-appointed. He's the owner/manager. There is a redeeming part in there where he has to DFA his favorite player, and then he tries to make it up to him by being like, but I still have your rookie card. Just that whole premise of the kid inheriting the team, making himself manager. He got what he deserved when he had to DFA his favorite player. Absolutely got what he deserved. And by far the worst of those mid-90s kid becomes part of the team movies. Easily. Good note about that movie though, Pete Crow Armstrong's mom actually played the mom of the kid in that movie. There's some lore there where you could say maybe this kid is an elite coach. He was Pete Crow Armstrong's older brother, taught Pete everything he knows. We could go into that. We could go into that theory in a different episode. Pardon me, I'm going to stop you right there. This is Jay from another day, or like after I recorded it, but before I posted it, and I kind of changed my mind. I don't think Little Big League is nearly as bad as I originally thought. If I had to do it over again today, I would pick Major League 3 back to the minors as the real reason to hate the Minnesota Twins. They're the bad guys in a movie against their own minor league team, and it's just overall one of the worst baseball movies of all time. Not even a sequel. It's actually, I would call it a non-sequel to the first two movies. The first was great, the second one was so-so, but the third, terrible. And we can blame that on the Minnesota Twins, because they weren't involved in the first two, but they're involved in the third one. So how about that? Take that, Twins fans. I'm blaming Major League 3 back to the minors on you. What else do I hate about the Minnesota Twins? Underlining the word win on your jerseys, and then going like 18 straight playoff games without getting a win. That's kind of gross. Number 3, Bremer and Blyleven were the worst announcers in baseball. They were just as biased as the Chicago White Sox announcers, but at least the Chicago White Sox announcers had the authenticity of making fun of themselves and calling the other team the bad guys. These guys, they just watched the other team hit a home run, then got super sour and super grumpy about it. Like, I've never heard announcers be just so hurt that the other team won. And not even like hurt like sad, just like, I guess part of the reason that I'm especially hurt by how poor Bremer and Blyleven were is because I had the misfortune of supporting a team that often didn't do away broadcasts. So at the time, I was an Oakland A's fan. When the A's were playing the Twins midweek, I had to watch the away broadcast on MLB.TV. And it was just gross. Like, Cespedes hits a home run. I don't want to hear you moan and groan about the other team hitting a home run. So that one's partially on me for supporting a team that's even more of a poverty franchise than the Minnesota Twins. Number 4, AJ Przinsky saying that they ended Moneyball. No, you didn't end Moneyball. Moneyball just migrated away from the poor teams that were depending on it to the rich teams that started using it to actually win championships. So the Minnesota Twins did not end Moneyball. They simply were there when the Red Sox started doing it instead, and you started seeing the rich teams win with the same analytics and the same ideas, just more money. So miss me with that nonsense, AJ. Not today. I'm not believing it. The number 5 reason, the mid-90s gray road pinstripes that said Minnesota across, all in block letters, combined with the lowercase m hat. There's just so much stylistically wrong with these jerseys. The font across the front could have been for any generic AAU travel ball team. The navy pinstripes looked terrible, especially over the gray. Or if you're going to do a gray road jersey that has pinstripes, it's got to be black. And even then, you probably shouldn't do it. Just let's go away from gray pinstripe uniforms. The Yankees, they love pinstripes. And even they've never even tried to do gray because they know it looks bad. That combined with the lowercase hat, it's just a gross look. Why the lowercase m on the hat and the all caps generic font Minnesota across the front? Easily one of the worst jerseys, one of the worst uniforms in baseball, at least in modern times. The next 2 are both about the Metrodome. So forgive me if this is a little bit nostalgia, but that's what I am. I'm sports nostalgia. Number 6 is the hefty bag in right field. There's people that actually liked this thing. It was terrible. It looked bad. It was bad optics. The ball bounced off of it funny. It was just bad for baseball in general. It was a solution to a problem that looked bad and also played bad. You could have just put a wall over that thing. It wouldn't have been that hard. Somebody could have engineered that. The next reason, also about the Metrodome, the plexiglass home run fence in left field. Am I at a hockey game or a baseball game? This is just ugly. It doesn't look good. You can tell when it's dirty. There's handprints all over it. You can't really get a good read if the ball's going to go over the wall or not because it's a silly plexiglass fence. All around bad idea. And this one, I don't even know why they did it. I suppose they wanted people right on the home run line, even if they couldn't see over the wall. It's just a silly solution. Just build the stadium better and don't have to do that in the first place. I lied. This is actually 3 in a row about the Metrodome. How come fans at the Metrodome didn't deserve to have a full dirt infield? What's up with these 4 little boxes around home and all the bases? That was just the ugliest thing. This made it bad for viewing on TV. It made it bad for viewing in person. And it also affected the way the ball played. And you could potentially skin a knee diving on AstroTurf instead of dirt. All around, bad look for the Twins and Major League Baseball. And they're not the only team that had it. The Blue Jays had it until recently too, so don't just think I'm picking on the Twins here. That's the first 8. And so far, it's had nothing to do with actual baseball or the product on the field. I got you though. We're going to come to those. Number 9, the David Ortiz cost-cutting maneuver. Now, this one should hurt Twins fans just as much as it hurts 28 of the other Major League Baseball teams. You guys let David Ortiz go for nothing. You just cut him to avoid paying arbitration? Like, that is the cheapest cost-cutting move that I've ever heard of. And I followed John Fisher's baseball team for 20 years. Like, this is just gross. Then he almost immediately goes on to the Red Sox and starts his way with his Hall of Fame career. It's just gross levels of not incompetence, because I don't think it was the baseball operations guys at the Twins that didn't know what they were doing. It's just cheapness of the owners. And that brings me to number 10, and this is a big one. The owners blew up the entire team last year at the trade deadline with the idea that they were going to sell the team. Now, if you're cheap owners and you're going to sell the team, that's great. That's good for baseball. That's good for Twins fans. Most fans wanted you to sell the team. But then 2 months after this fire sale that was supposedly to reduce payroll to make the team more sellable and more attractive on the open market, you announced that you're here to stay. That's the biggest FU to Twins fans that I can possibly imagine, and that's why that's my top reason for hating the Minnesota Twins. As for cutting David Ortiz just to avoid arbitration, that's contraction-worthy behavior. And I say that kidding. I don't want any fan base to lose their team, not even the Twins. If you like my channel and you want to hear more of my opinions, hit subscribe. And also, leave a comment. I'm going to try to get into all of the comments on this channel because I really want to foster a community. Thank you for staying till the end.